Join me as I dive into some chilling suspense stories that will leave you questioning everything. Can I uncover the truth behind these mysteries? There's something about suspense that just draws us in, isn't there? Maybe it's the thrill of the unknown, or the feeling that we're peeling back the layers of a puzzle to reveal a hidden truth. Whatever it is, there's no denying that suspense is addictive. And when it comes to real-life events, the allure is even stronger. Suspense stories, by their very nature, are shrouded in mystery. They often involve complex plots, unexpected twists, and more questions than answers. But that's exactly what makes them so intriguing. We're forced to piece together clues, to try and make sense of the chaos, and to wonder what's going to happen next. And yet at the same time, suspense stories present a unique challenge. How do we separate fact from fiction, truth from rumor? How do we get to the bottom of a story that's been obscured by secrecy, deception, or even just plain confusion? In many cases, the truth behind a suspense story can be elusive, hidden behind a web of lies, misdirection, or simply a lack of evidence. But that doesn't stop us from trying to uncover it. We're drawn to the puzzle, the enigma, the whodunit. We want to know what really happened and why. And sometimes the truth is even more shocking than we could have ever imagined. Of course, suspense stories can also be deeply unsettling. They can push us to confront the darker aspects of human nature and to question our own assumptions about the world. But that's what makes them so compelling. They force us to think, to feel, and to wonder. They make us realize that no matter how much we think we know, there's always more to the story. Okay, so let's dive into some of these suspense stories, shall we? From mysterious disappearances to baffling crimes, each one is a puzzle waiting to be solved. There was the case of the Zodiac Killer, who terrorized California in the late 1960s and early 1970s with a string of brutal murders, and who was never caught. There was the disappearance of the Sodder children, who vanished from their West Virginia home on Christmas Eve in 1945, and who were never found. And there was the murder of Elizabeth Short, a young woman whose brutalized body was found in a Los Angeles park in 1947, and who became known as the Black Dahlia. Each of these cases has its own unique twists and turns, its own cast of characters, and its own set of clues. But they all share one thing in common: a deep sense of mystery, a sense of uncertainty that continues to haunt us to this day. They're stories that have captivated us for decades, stories that have spawned countless books, movies, and documentaries. And yet, despite all the attention, the truth behind each case remains elusive. But one of the most shocking twists I've come across is the story of the Dyatlov Pass incident. In February 1959, 9 experienced hikers embarked on a trek through the Ural Mountains in Russia. Several weeks later, their bodies were found, scattered across the snowy terrain. And the investigation that followed was like nothing anyone had ever seen before. The hikers' tent was ripped open from the inside, as if they'd fled in panic. Their bodies were found with strange injuries, including one with a missing tongue. And the explanation for their deaths? Well, that's the most shocking part of all. The Dyatlov Pass incident is a classic example of a suspense story that just gets weirder and weirder the more you dig into it. It's a story that's been endlessly debated, with theories ranging from Yeti attacks to military experiments gone wrong. And yet, despite all the speculation, the truth behind the incident remains a mystery. It's a reminder that no matter how much we think we know, there's always more to the story. As we look back on the suspense stories we've covered, one thing is clear: they're unforgettable. They get under our skin, they make us wonder, and they leave us with more questions than answers. And that's what makes them so addictive. They're a reminder that, in the world of real-life mystery, the truth is always stranger than fiction. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the world of suspense stories. If you've got a favorite suspense story you'd love to share, be sure to leave it in the comments below. And if you're craving more thrills and chills, be sure to check out our next video for even more spine-tingling content.